It's the two dudes with the attitudes, let's go. On the Friday, you know what it is, man, they came to handle biz. Two dudes with attitudes, and they came to get it in. If you wanna hear it all, yeah, you in the right place. Going through the highs and lows at a pretty calm pace. This is where they talk to all elite, Dynamite and Rampage. All the other news on your timelines or your page. Shooting star press like it's mad side down. MWO, and yeah, they here to hold it down. Had to kick a rhyme just to tell you about the show. From the TikToks or the shorts, they will bring the smoke. And yeah, it's the dudes like it's Sean and it's Diesel. Live on the Twitch, YouTube for the review. Show them all the love on the platform you using. 5-star rating now, there is no excuses. Welcome back or welcome for the first show. Two dudes with the attitudes, time to work, bro.
What's going on? You are now tuned into the greatest Two Dudes Wolfpack. It is the Two Dudes with Attitudes, a wrestling podcast. By the way, I am dressed for that song. I'm just telling you that right now.
Yeah.
I am definitely dressed for that intro, dude. Just gotta say it. But anyway,
the intro still gets me amped every time I
dude,
hear it.
every single time, man. It gets me pumped up. Your boy killed it. Shouts out to him. Anyway, we are back, AEW. We are back with our podcast. It is AEW Day. And we took a week off. My man was on vacay. And as always, I'm Mr. MWO. And with me is the Mr. Vacation, Pina Colada himself, Shooting Star Press. What is going on?
Oh, man. We, last week in AEW, we missed Blood and Guts, which, it was what it was. It was a awkward ending.
Good thing we missed it.
Yeah. I'm glad we didn't talk about it because that would have been one of those negative episodes of AEW that we try to love on AEW a little bit, but sometimes they deliver things like Blood and Guts and they deserve to be ridiculed. So,
or I like to call it War Games Junior. Once again, that thing was like, you know what we're gonna do? A whole bunch of spots where you guys are gonna flip and do things and time it perfectly, and then we're gonna cut each other open. It was very yawn to me. I didn't give two rats about it, and then BCC lost. It was,
and then we're gonna bring
an hour long.
We're gonna bring Pac back, and then just to have him walk out in the middle of the match for no apparent reason,
and then he stood there forever too. He like walked out, and then he stood there, and I don't know. It was. Did you see how long he stood there for? He stood there.
Yeah, stood there
forever. Just like stood there. I'm like, why did you leave? It was, and here's the other thing too, because I was gonna do the previously on, but I was like, AEW, not much happened. But I do gotta say, okay, you watch movies, right?
Oh,
you watch Lord of the Rings, Marvel movies, stuff like that. Okay. Every single time a 3-hour movie is released, even if it's a great movie, even if it's Avengers Endgame, so a 3.5-hour movie, I always leave the theater going. That movie could have been 2.5 hours. That movie could have been 2 hours. You didn't need 30 to 40 minutes of that movie. You could have taken it out. Life would have been good. And then you can make the Zack Snyder remix on Max later on. You don't need a movie that long.
No.
We've talked about this, like when Daniel Bryan came to AEW and every match he had was an hour long. I don't need an hour-long match anymore in this day and age. It is too long. We had back-to-back main events on AEW, on Collision and Dynamite, hour-long main events. Now, was the best out of 3 tag team match a banger? Hell yeah, it was. But just like I said about Avengers and other movies, just because it's 3 hours doesn't mean it's a bad movie. It's just saying you could have done it in 2.5. Hour-long match, you could have done it in 40 minutes. We still would have felt it.
And
if they go too long, I get bored, man. I'm like, what the hell am I even watching this for? I'm like, dude, move it on already.
And I completely agree. And when they do that too, I think the ending gets rushed. And apparently there was a bunch of stuff that happened that they had to cut because of time. There was some stuff that went unaired, like a Kenny Omega promo. He cut a promo after Dynamite went off the air, but it was apparently supposed to air on Dynamite, but because the match went 7.5 hours long, that they couldn't put it on TV. And then there was apparently the Elite and the Blackpool Combat Club shook hands. There was an unaired handshake between the two teams, basically saying that we respect you, we don't like you, but we respect you type thing. And they all like John Moxley did the fist bump, and Wheeler Yuta shook hands with some other people, with Kenny Omega, and but they didn't air that. And I think that could have been a cool way to end this little chapter of the story, but because the match went 19 and a half hours, we'll never see it. So now just some of the stuff that went on this week in AEW didn't make any sense because of that.
Yeah.
Because of the stuff that didn't air. So
and War Games Junior didn't need to be an hour. Like, how many times did they do the same spots and and everything was so set up. There was times where they were like waiting for each other to do things. It was, I don't know how online people were saying it was the greatest match ever. Like I said, the best out of 3, it was an hour. It was way too long, but at least it was good. It was a classic. This War Games Junior match was whack. Get the heck out of here with that. I'm so sick of bleeding every week. I'm so sick of like the spots. I'm so sick of like there's no story. Where was the story in that? Anyway, let's get into this week, right? But that's why I'm glad we didn't.
This week was a little bit better, but
it
not much.
It was. So basically, Rampage decided to do the same thing. They're like, we're an hour long. We can have an hour long match, but we can have a 30-minute match. So they opened up with the Royal Rampage or the Rampage Rumble. What was it called?
The Royal Rampage.
I said it right. Yeah, the Royal Rampage. And so Darby Allin, number 1. He came in at number 1. Look at that. Swerve Strickland came in at number 2. I didn't even realize that. So the last 2 guys in the match came in at number 1 and 2. So they had a whole bunch of people. This was for the next person up for the TNT title, who is owned by Luchasaurus defends it. He's the one who's having the matches, but Christian keeps saying he's the champ. I don't know what the heck's going on. Shout out to Christian Cage though for wrestling in the turtleneck tank top, I gotta say, because I think it's funny every time he takes his jacket off that he has a turtleneck tank top. It's like a fake turtleneck, but yet he wrestled in it this week. Props to him. But anyway, we had a whole bunch of people. We had the Jay Lethals out there, Nick Wayne, who all of a sudden I'm supposed to care about. Some other names, Brian Cage was out there, Ethan Page, your boy was out there, Chris, there's all sorts of people. Big Bill was out there. But in the end, we had Darby Allin spear Swerve Strickland out of the ring, correct? And Swerve Strickland hit first. And I love the fact that they were like, Swerve Strickland's legs hit first. And then Taz or somebody was like, didn't matter, he went through the middle rope. And then Excalibur again was like, on the replay, it was Swerve Strickland's feet who landed first. And Taz was like, dude, middle rope, bro. Got to go over the top. He went through the middle rope. It didn't matter if his feet landed first or whatever. But I like it. I think I like seeing Darby Allin be next up for the TNT title. I think it makes sense. I actually thought this match was fun. I actually did. I know some people said it wasn't that great. You'll talk about what you didn't really dig about it, but with the whole rings. But I liked it. I thought it was fun. I liked seeing. I think Swerve Strickland and Darby Allin were nice to be the last 2. I don't like that they ended up rematching this Wednesday, which we might talk about or not. But we're not going to talk about it, or are we? I don't know. But anyway, they had an instant rematch on Dynamite, which I think takes away from the fact that Darby Allin won. But either way, I thought it was fun. I thought it was good. I thought I got a lot of people out there, names again. I think this is the perfect thing. We were talking about how when Collision came around that Rampage was going to go away. And I think Rampage has been used, and they have another one coming up this Friday, so tomorrow. They're having like another thing for the tag team titles. Another like a battle royal for it.
Yeah, we just have a tournament for that though? Like that's what.
Yeah, but hey, we're gonna keep getting people, and I like it. And they even did interviews with them, like where they were talking beforehand, and they were saying like, would you rather face MJF? And they're like, I want MJF and Adam Cole. I thought it was cool. I think it's nice. It's a good way to utilize Rampage, where you're giving other people a name. You're kind of getting stuff out that you might not have time for on Collision and Dynamite, building contenders, building stories. I dig it, and I thought this was great. I thought Rampage is entertaining. I've yet to watch a bad Rampage since Collision has come on. I've watched a lot of shitty Collisions, so.
Yeah, no, I mean, this was a fun episode. I didn't like at first I thought the 2 rings thing was a little cheesy and just, they had 10 on one ring and 10 in the other ring. But then I forgot that that Rampage is pre-taped and it comes on right after Dynamite, and they had to use the 2 rings for War Games Junior, and so it was already set up, so they had to kind of do it that way. So I think they took advantage of it, and I think they made the most out of it. But this was a cool. I thought it was a good episode of Rampage. It was a fun match. You got to utilize. You had some people have some big moments. You got to utilize some of your underutilized talent, and that's what you want out of an hour-long show. So I dug it. I think Darby Allin's the right choice to compete. And the cool thing too is we'll talk about this with Collision, but the best episodes of Rampage are when they tell a story. and when the one episode of Rampage feeds into the next week's episode of Dynamite. This episode fed into AEW Collision perfectly. Because, as we saw on Collision, CM Punk and Darby Allin got together, and they're going, Darby Allin was cutting a promo on Luchasaurus and Christian Cage and talking about the TNT Championship. So I think that's what makes Rampage great, is when they can feed into the next episode, and then that episode feeds into Dynamite. So yeah, I dug it. I dug this episode.
They've taken Rampage and made it better, and I'm so glad they didn't make it into dark. I'm so happy they kept it as is, and like you said, it's great. And speaking of, let's go into Collision, right? Let's go into Collision, and I want to say, you might not, I enjoyed Collision this week. I don't know if this is the first or second Collision I enjoyed, but I want to talk about something really quick before we go into what we liked about it. But I have to give a shout out to their opening now. I flippin' love it. I don't know if you're not too much younger than I, but there used to be a WWE show called Saturday Night's Main Event. They would have Hogan wrestle on it sometimes, Bad News Brown. They had like big names on it, but it was about like an hour. Maybe it was a 2 hour long show. I was young. But they always opened up the show with promos. Whoever was wrestling cut a promo, and they did like pre-done promos, and they like recorded them, and then they all talked, and then they went into the segment. Tony Khan has stolen them, like he's stolen everything. But this is the one plus about having a fan as an owner, is that he does things like that. And I have to say, I flippin' love Collision starting with that every single week. I dig it. It gets me hyped up, man. I know what I'm looking forward to. I'm excited. It gets everybody out there, gives them all a rub. We get to see their face. We get to see what they're all about. They talk about, and every week now they open up with guys doing the promo, and then they go into their stupid Saturday. But I love it. I dig it. I like what they're doing with it. I just wanted to throw that out there. It's getting a little bit better. But I want to talk about some bad. Not really their fault. I'm not blaming Collision, but we had the rematch for the Trios title, the House of Black versus the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass. And, I love the House of Black. I love them. I dig them. I love that Buddy Murphy was having none of Homeboy's rap right off the bat. He was like, "Not today, sir," and attacked him. He's like, "You're not going to make fun of my girlfriend." Although Rhea cut a thing on TikTok just recently about what's her favorite thing to do with Dominic, and she said the fuck, and it beeped. So I don't know what's going.
They kissed apparently too.
Yeah, they're getting a little bit more. Anyway, Buddy Murphy, keep hitting the gym. But anyway, I love House of Black. House of Black really reminds me of The Undertaker and The Fiend and Bray Wyatt and stuff like that. To where I love them, I dig them, but they're dark and mysterious that they don't need titles on them is weird. And I thought this was the Acclaimed's chance to win that Trios title, get some revenge, because why else would we have this? And instead, it was a squash match. The House of Black legitimately squashed the Acclaimed. I get Daddy Ass took the pin, but they squashed them. It was 4 minutes. Squashed the Acclaimed. Literally the most over act in AEW. They still get the biggest pops. His reps still get the hugest. Everyone's scissors. They are so over. They took a squash. They got squashed. And at the end, Daddy Ass took 75 minutes and sat there trying to, he's never unlaced his boots before, and he took his boots off, and it took so long that the Acclaim couldn't even get back in the ring. So Daddy Ass gets pinned, and then Aleister Black's like whispering in his ear and hugging him, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? And then Rhea Ripley's fake boyfriend gives him a hug too before he leaves, and I thought it was weird. I'm like, why are they hugging him? That's so out of House of Black doesn't do that. So why are they hugging Daddy Ass afterwards? And he takes off his boots and basically, I'm assuming, retires in the ring. Or is this going to be a build-up for them to come back or whatever? But either way, the Acclaim let him do it, didn't step in the ring. And then when he left, then they stepped in the ring and got their boots. Don't do it after he, rushed off. But obviously, this isn't a real retirement. He's not retiring that way. So this is a storyline. Is that why? That's why they got squashed? Because that way he's showing he's the weak link. And now we're going to get a Rocky moment. I don't know what's happening. But either way, they've lost twice now to the House of Black. I think it's a waste. If they're going this route, so be it. But I don't buy it, and I just thought this was a big to me. Yeah, you can't be having at least have a 15-minute match and then Daddy Ass lose again, because at least he could feel bad for losing twice. But they got squashed. They didn't even get offense in.
It didn't last long at all. And
no.
Yeah, I don't think this is a real retirement. I think this is all part of a a story. So I'm intrigued. I want to see where it goes. I want to see what happens. Is Daddy Ass going to join House of Black? Are they trying to turn him like they were trying to recruit Eddie Kingston a few months ago, and like they did with that Julia Hart girl when she was with the Varsity Blondes? So makes me wonder if they're going to bring Daddy Ass over to the dark side and join House of Black, and maybe that's what Alistair or Malachi Black whispered to him about joining us, and we'll bring you back to where you need to be. Or I don't know, but I am curious. I'm intrigued. So for that, I dug it, but I thought the timing and the pacing of it was really weird with him taking so long to get his boots off, the Acclaim being out of the ring, and then all of a sudden he gets his boots off, and then they react. Like, why couldn't they say anything while he was taking his boots off? Could they not see what he was doing at ringside? Like, I didn't understand that part. But yeah, I'm intrigued, but I'm not convinced that this is a real retirement. I think either he's staying with House of Black, like you said, or either he's staying with the Acclaim, like you said, and it's going to be like a rocky moment. He's going to come back, and they're going to beat the House of Black, and it's going to be because of Billy Gunn, or he's turning on them. And we all thought he was going to join his sons, reunite with them. Maybe now he joins House of Black.
Ooh, interesting. All right.
But I want to talk I talked a little bit about it in my Rampage thing, but the opening segment with CM Punk calling out Ricky Starks, because, previously on Two Dudes with Attitudes and last week, the lost episode of AEW Friday, on Collision, we had the Owen Hart Memorial Final, the Owen Hart Tournament Final between CM Punk and Ricky Starks, and Ricky Starks beat CM Punk, and he used the ropes to pin CM Punk. So he cheated to win. He didn't beat him clean. And so this week, CM Punk calls out Ricky Starks and basically says, I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at myself. I've had people, I've cheated to win before, but can you live with yourself knowing that you couldn't beat me clean? And then Ricky Starks comes out and he just basically says that he won. Well, all that matters is that he did win. It's not how he won. And he doesn't want to be a pillar in AEW. He wants to, how many Owen Harts have these pillars won? And so he had some good lines. And then again, Punk came out and said that Punk is cheated. And then all of a sudden he starts bashing the New Jersey Devils. And it's like the New Jersey Devils have even cheated. And it's like, okay, who's the heel here? Is it Ricky Starks or is it CM Punk? Is CM Punk trying to get the heel heat, even though he just lost to the guy who had to cheat to win? Or is it CM Punk? I don't know. That's where I was confused a little bit. And then Christian Cage and Luchasaurus came out. And Christian Cage said that this is taking a little too long, and he didn't want to spend any more time in New Jersey than he had to because they call it Dirty Jersey for a reason, and he wanted to get out of there. And then he cut the best line of the whole segment when he said to CM Punk, "What kind of man carries around a championship that they haven't won?" And he was talking about the fact that CM Punk has that red bag, and which I haven't seen the red bag. He carried it out one episode of Collision, and all of a sudden now they're talking about it. But Ricky Starks is like, "Oh yeah, what's in the red bag, Punk?" And Punk says that he's the real AEW World Champion. And yeah, it was a cool segment. Then Darby Allin came out, and the winner of the Royal Rampage, to feed him from Rampage to Collision, Friday to Saturday. He comes out and says that Luchasaurus comes out, who he took too many psychedelics and now he thinks he's a dinosaur. And yeah, so I like that part where Darby, because Rampage told a story and it fed into Darby having a showdown with either Christian Cage or Luchasaurus, whoever the TNT champion is. I like the Christian Cage moment, but the CM Punk Ricky Starks promo was a little weird for me. It was just like, who's the heel, who's the babyface? Because they looked like they were both trying to be heels, but Ricky Starks technically turned heel last week. But I don't know. And the fans were kind of torn on who to boo and who to cheer. So I thought that part was weird. And then They made a tag team match for later on in the night with Punk and Darby Allin teaming up yet again and against Ricky Starks and Luchasaurus or Christian Cage. So
Christian Cage,
yeah. So yeah, we'll talk about the main event later, but I thought it was a good opening to the show because we all wanted answers as to why Ricky Starks cheated to win. I don't think we really got any answers, but I like the Darby Allin piece. I like the Christian Cage edition. Anytime Punk and Christian Cage are in the ring together, it's always fun because you never know what the other one's going to say. Mm-hmm. But I just didn't like the Punk Ricky Starks. I wanted more from it, and they didn't give it. And then, who's the heel? That's my big thing.
Here's the thing with the AEW, and it's been a problem since day one, is that they don't care about heels and baby faces. They just, because they let these guys cut whatever they want, promos. CK might look it over, but it's full freedom. So these guys just say what they want.
Yeah.
And it was funny that CM Punk, because not only did he trash New Jersey, he trashed New Jersey. He was like, and I know for a fact nobody in here in New Jersey hasn't been cheating or whatever. And I'm like, okay, you're claiming that he's a heel and then you're cutting a heel promo. It was really stupid. And Ricky Starks, I mean, this was foreshadowing because when you go into the main event, we'll learn a little bit more about Ricky Starks and cheating. But he kind of just gave a smug, that's right, I cheated to win. But in WWE, babyfaces roll up tights all the time to win. So does that really make you heel? I don't know. But here's the thing. Ricky Starks being a heel is good for business. He's a way better heel. He was always better in Team Taz than he ever has been as a babyface. No, babyface. Number two, CM Punk. Make up your damn mind, dude. The crowd don't like you. AEW fans don't want you there. Be a heel already or move on with your life.
Yeah, I know.
I also didn't like that he said that he's still the champion, although Ricky Starks didn't even have a chance to be like, bro, I just beat you. So if you're the champ, give me your damn red bag. But it was also a weird thing. But I'm all for Christian Cage coming down. I still don't know who the damn champion is. I know it's the store is, but it's Christian Cage also defending it. And everything else, I agree with you. I liked it too because this was the first real time we've cut a good promo. We built some story on Collision, and Collision needs this. Collision needs to be different than Dynamite, I agree, but it can't just be all wrestling. We need some story involvement, especially if Punk's not going to be on Dynamite or certain people. So I did like it. I did like that the story was being pushed. With that said, let's talk about other stories being pushed, right? FTR came out and cut a pretty damn good promo, and I just have to say, and I'll touch on it in Dynamite's review, but MJF and Adam Cole are over. And you want to know why I know they're over? It's because FTR is over. FTR has always gotten cheered in AEW. They're like the AEW golden child because they are like the anti-WWE, tag team. And they were getting booed. They chanted double clothesline. And Dax Harwood cut a phenomenal promo, delivered intensity, brought up some great moments about how he was 14 and rich snobby kids were picking on him and making fun of him. And now he can never punch him in the face. So now he's going to punch them in the face when they wrestle next week on Collision. And, basically he's going to beat them like they own the money, that they're over here having dance-offs because they don't care about the tag team division and they've worked their asses off to be tag team champions and be the best ever in a tag team. And they're a mockery of it. So they're going to beat the living snot out of him. It's a great promo. And it just shows how well of a professional Dax is because he did all that while being booed. Basically, the crowd hated him. They were against FTR the entire time. And I'm curious on what's going to happen because we'll talk more about it in Dynamite. But I mean, I liked it. I like the intensity. It hyped me up for the match, to be honest with you. I'm actually kind of intrigued by it. I also like that they talked about the other thing, too, because they're like, don't worry, we got another tournament coming up or whatever else. We got more people we're going to have to beat after them. So we need to just get through these guys and then move on to the next. So I liked it. I dug it. Quick and to the point. What do you think? Was it good? Was it weird? Was you surprised by the crowd? Usually you can have two babyface teams or two babyface people go and the crowd will kind of love them both, but it looks like they're kind of turning on FTR a little bit. Maybe just this crowd was. I don't know.
Yeah, this crowd was very fickle because, they didn't know who to cheer for in Punk and Ricky Starks. They didn't know who to cheer for with FTR, but I thought this was a really good promo from both members of FTR, Dax and Wheeler. I thought they both brought it. I love that they brought up all the stuff that they used to do with MJF when they rolled with him in the Pinnacle, and again, they're telling a long-term story that they know MJF like the back of their hand, and they've seen what he can do. They've seen the kind of cowardice acts that he can do, and they used to
roll
with
him. That's right.
He brought all that up. I liked how they talked about how Adam Cole's kind of an innocent bystander in all of this. They respect Adam Cole. They don't respect why he's partnering with MJF, but they're going to take their aggressions out on Adam Cole and take their aggressions out on MJF. So I'm down for this. I thought this was a really solid promo from guys who aren't known for cutting promos. They're really known just for going out and kicking ass in the wrestling ring. And this time they really delivered on the microphone. So
I agree.
Yeah. I thought this was an A+ promo from FTR.
It was. Got me pumped.
Yeah. And then for me, the last thing is the main event itself, the CM Punk and Darby Allin versus Christian Cage and Ricky Starks. And I thought this was a solid main event. I really did. I thought this match from start to finish was really, really good. The crowd was really into it. They seemed to be torn 50-50 between Ricky Starks and CM Punk.
Yep.
I like how, Ricky Starks was really embracing that heel character. He refused to get any offense in and immediately tagged in Christian Cage. Christian and Ricky took turns beating down CM Punk. Darby Allin came in and did his thing. I like that Ricky Starks, is not quite ready to commit to the heel character yet, but he did resort to cheating to win yet again, keeping his foot on the ropes to pin Darby Allin. I saw nothing wrong with this match. I was surprised that Punk lost yet again. I think he's lost now 3 times since he's come back, and that's really surprising to me. But I like the story that they're building for this. It makes me wonder where they're going with it. But it was a good win for Ricky Starks and Christian Cage. Christian Cage wrestling in that turtleneck is pretty awesome as well. But yeah, there was really, this was a solid way to close out Collision. It was a good episode of Collision.
And once again, you had a phenomenal main event. It was 25 minutes, right? It wasn't an hour. So good on them.
Yeah.
A long match. 25 minutes is a long. Tony Khan can remember, man. 2023 attention spans are very low.
Oh yeah.
When we watch TV shows, we're on our phones. We watch movies, we're on our phones. When we watch wrestling, we're on our phones. Nobody just watches things anymore. Attention span only lasts so long. Having these long ass matches makes no sense. This was a great match. I didn't like Darby Allin taking the pin, and we'll talk about it on Dynamite as well. But it's he took the pin, he took the roll up. I know it was a roll up.
He just won.
Ricky Starks, but you had him next in line for TNT. He takes the pin. Cool beans. But I like that Ricky Starks cheated again. I like that he rolled it. I like he's paired up with Christian Cage. If minus Dominic Mysterio and Don Callis, who's a bigger heel than Christian freaking Cage, and he's paired up with him. So I'm assuming he's the heel. He didn't argue the pair up either. They're y'all tag teaming. He was like, right. So is that where Ricky Starks is going? I hope so. And are we getting a Ricky Starks CM Punk feud? And if we are, I'm assuming CM Punk's going to win next because he just lost. So what's the point of this either? Because Ricky Starks always ends up on the short end of the stick. So we'll see what happens. But I like it. Building stories, building stuff on Collision. That's why I said this was the best Collision episode in my opinion. Story-wise and actually building AEW's brand, not just having a whole bunch of phenomenal matches put together. It was good stuff for the future.
And I like this episode too because like you said, the stories and the promos, but none of the promos, CM Punk has been notorious for this since he came back to wrestling, but he hasn't mentioned the WWE one time since he's been back. And I think he had that first promo where he came out and talked about the counterfeit bucks and he talked about all the stuff going on with All Out last year. But this year, since he came back, he really talking about the stuff in the ring, talking about Ricky Starks cheating to win, talking about all the things in AEW. And I think it's making it a little bit better, knowing that he could be bringing up all the stuff that happened to him in WWE, but he seems to have moved on. And I think it's making him a better promo in AEW because he's talking about things going on in AEW.
I agree fully. All right, man. Dynamite time. Let's go. AE Dynamite, man. It was, it happened, but it was a jam-packed episode. A lot of stuff happened. It just happened. The thing with AEW is if the matches are whatever, then usually the episode becomes whatever, and that's what stinks. That's why you need to build storylines. But there's one intriguing storyline that is happening. So, Orange Cassidy, my man, longest reigning champion in the history of AEW. I think no one's had a title reign longer than his, right? I mean, he's been the champion forever, or at least most defenses, so on. He's getting a good rub. He's not just that dude anymore. He wrestled AR Fox and finally had a match where he's not getting his butt kicked the entire time and had to come back to win. So thank Jeebus. And they actually had a banger of a match. Him and AR Fox had a really, really good match. But one thing that has eluded Orange Cassidy is big name matchups. He wrestles a lot, but he wrestled AR Fox. Cool. He wrestles always that dude that like has nothing to do and defends his title. So what happens? He literally gets, after the match, out comes Jon Moxley, and they do a little work into each other and have a little bit of a battle, which continues on later on into the show afterwards at the end with the BCC, where Orange Cassidy comes out to save the best friends, and which we'll get into. But I just want to talk about the fact that we are getting Jon Moxley and Orange Cassidy, dude. It feels like it. That Orange Cassidy's wrestling one of them, or they're doing like a little, not either Orange Cassidy or Moxley. I think it's people in each crew are in this like triple threat match coming up sometime in the future. But are you in this? Are you signed up? Is it too unrealistic for you? Because Orange Cassidy's like, they're literally opposite. I don't know. They were fighting each other, and I was like in it. I was like, hell. For one, Orange Cassidy deserves it. He deserves Jon Moxley. He deserves a name like Moxley. Is it going to be for the title? If so, hell's to the yeah. And even if this is the end of him, I'm for it. It's a good rub for Orange Cassidy to wrestle Jon Moxley. Are you for this, or is it too like the most serious, I get cut all the time wrestler versus the comedic, my hands are in my pocket and I'm going to baby kick you, so it's not going to work? Or is it going to work? Because Orange Cassidy works with everyone, in my opinion. So are you for this? I don't want to get too much into it because we're going to talk about other segments that involve, but I mean, sign me up, bro. I was like, this was like the most pumped I've been since the next segment I'm going to talk about. But this was like, holy guacamole, man. We've got chips. I'm all about Orange Cassidy and Jon Moxley. This has money written all over it, in my opinion. Opinion.
I'm all about it in the ring. You know, I think in the ring, these guys, like Orange Cassidy deserves this. He's been a tremendous international champion for AEW. You talk about bringing prestige to a title. This man has defended it, I think, 27 times or something like that. I think that's what they said on Dynamite. So, yeah, I'm all for it. My only concern is BCC and the Orange Cassidy are two completely different. They're opposite ends of the spectrum. You know, Orange Cassidy is very and the BCC is very they're very aggressive, and Orange Cassidy is just like, okay, whatever. You know, if he's from wherever, he's weighs whatever. And so that's the only thing. Like, is he gonna take? Is it gonna be? What are the promos going to be like? Are there going to be any promos? Are there going to be backstage interviews? Is this going to bring something out of Orange Cassidy? Is this going to light a fire under him? And then also, I hope that these matches are a little bit different than the typical Orange Cassidy match, where he gets his ass kicked the entire freaking match, and then all of a sudden, he like hulks up, and he finds like one area of his body that's not taped and uses that to his advantage to beat up his opponent. I mean, you're not going to be able to do that again. It's not realistic. You can do that against an AR Fox. You can do that against, a smaller, lesser known person in AEW, but against a guy like Jon Moxley's not going to let you, get any offense in if he's kicking your ass the entire match. So I think that he's going to have to change up his wrestling style, but I'm all in for it. I love it. And I think Orange Cassidy deserves it. To me, it was either this or he drops the international title and goes after the world title, because I think he deserves that as well.
I agree fully. And even watching, because you're comparing the crews, one of the cool things is the BCC, when they're in matches, they like don't pull punches. They're like hitting hard. The best friends in their match, they're like barely even stomping them. And like their punches are very pulled. They're like definitely polar opposites of the spectrum. So I'll be intrigued by it. Yeah, definitely, for sure. But I'm all signing me up for Mox and Orange Cassidy.
I also like how the BCC sticks together. I mean, this whole thing stemmed because Orange Cassidy hit the orange punch on Claudio at the Ring of Honor, or was it in the Royal Rampage, or it was in the?
No, it was ROH, whatever.
ROH pay-per-view
event that happened.
Yeah. And he hit the orange punch, and now Moxley's the reason that he comes out, because he's like, you mess with my boy, I'm going to mess with you. So,
but you know what? I like that, because that's what the BCC is all about. They back each other up. And Audio hasn't even done anything or stepped. He's like, whatever, all right, you can have him.
Yeah, he was wrestling Pac at the event. So I'm all in. I'm all in on this, and I hope it leads to a good match. Speaking of All In, at All In Wembley, I think this is Orange Cassidy deserves a high-profile match.
I agree. All right.
Now, I want to talk about something that I'm not a big fan of anymore, and that is Jungle Boy, Jack Perry.
Ooh, okay.
I loved it when he turned heel. I didn't expect the match with Hook to go last week at Blood and Guts. I really thought it was going to drag out a little bit until All Out or All In, and I think maybe that's the way it should have gone. But last week at Blood and Guts, Jack Perry beats Hook and wins the FTW title. And I want to rant for a second, because this drives me insane. AEW makes it a point to say that this is not a recognized belt in AEW. If you go to AEW.com and look at their champions, there's no FTW title mentioned whatsoever. There's no FTW championship history anywhere. So how is it that you can sanction a match for the FTW title on live TV? It makes no sense. No sense to me that we're going to put this title that doesn't matter on the line, and and then you also made it Hook's first loss in AEW to Jack Perry. And then the whole music thing where he's like burying his music, and then he comes out to Beethoven last week. It was just all of it was bad.
You also thought that was stupid, right? His music. I was like, oh, the Jungle Boy music, cool. The Beethoven.
Yeah.
What? Is that an evil song? Am I missing something? Because why is he not coming out to the Imperial March or something? He needs to come out to something a little bit more evil than. Dun, 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 dun. It's so stupid. He's already weak looking. You already have this guy looking like a wimpy heel.
He looked like a Hooters employee this week. He came out with
because he was trying to make fun of Taz, but he did look like a Hooters employee.
Yeah, he came out with the orange shirt and the pants, the black shorts, and he looked like an ex-Hooters employee. But and then Jerry Lynn, for whatever reason, comes out.
Oh my
he's
god!
talking about how
for AEW,
he's had enough of Jack Perry's bad attitude, and he went as far as to interrupt the promo to tell him that much, that he didn't like his attitude, and and even Jungle Boy, but going back to the FTW title, he doesn't even want this belt. He came out and the first thing he said in the promo was, "I always thought of my first title wasn't going to be this. I don't want this." No. Then why are you? I don't know. I don't. But this heel run for Jungle Boy, to me, I don't know if it's him, or if it's the material he's being given, but it's just not clicking for me. He doesn't seem comfortable as a heel. He doesn't seem like he's enjoying it. He doesn't seem like he's enjoying the promos every week. So there's part of me that wants him to get a mouthpiece, or reunite with Christian Cage and Luchasaurus and bring that group back together and be dominant heels that just beat up everybody. But I'm really not feeling what they're doing with Jack Perry. And then, Hook is just, he's lost now. He lost clean. And now there was a segment or vignette of him waiting for a bus or something, or
was
a subway.
The subway? It was a subway.
Yeah, it was a subway. It was just, and then it just says Hook on the screen. I'm like, what in the world is going on? So Hook's gone now. Don't forget
his belt was there, and when the subway went by, his belt was gone.
Yeah. What? I don't know. Is this going to lead to a match with Taz? Is that why Jerry Lynn did his thing? Is it going to be like the Heath Slater thing where he took on all the legends and then he's going to take out Taz last? And I don't know. But I'm not feeling this. I don't like when they make it a point to say that this title is not recognized in AEW. But hey, next week he's going to defend this championship against whoever, and it's so stupid. So dumb.
It's the same thing that you said when you're making fun of WWE a little while ago about a unsanctioned match, but they were having a contract signing, because the whole point of an unsanctioned match is that it's not set. So you have what? Why are you guys? What are you guys signing for? To say that you're not going to have a match that's sanctioned by the WWE? It's so stupid. Yeah. And this is the same thing I've always thought about with this title. How is it not recognized, then why the hell is Tony Khan putting time on his television show to defend it and bring it out and everything else? And it's all just a hot mess. And I've always thought Jungle Boy was wax sauce. I've never thought he was one of the pillars. I thought Darby's always been better. I don't get Jungle Boy. The only reason why I've ever liked him is because, rest in peace, he's Luke Perry's son. And Luke Perry, I don't care what anybody says. I'm 42. I grew up to Dylan McKay. That dude was my hero. 90210, Dylan McKay, the coolest, baddest. The dude was in high school and lived in his own hotel, drove a Porsche, surfed, and got the two hottest babes fighting over him in all of high school. Dylan McKay was that dude. So I respect him, but that's why I would think that Jungle Boy would be able to cut better promos, because his dad was an actor, so you would think that he would have some kind of acting types. He just isn't that dude, and they haven't turned him heel properly. I like the chicken shit heel. Why are we now having him come out and mocking Taz and calling his family a piece of crap or whatever and this and that? And then Jerry Lynn comes out and he's like, Jungle. And I'm like, who the hell has ever called him Jungle? That's not his Jungle. Did he think his first name was Jungle and his last name was Boy? Like, at least come out and be like, Jungle Boy. He was like, Jungle. I was like, who the hell? He's like,
Jungle Boy's dead.
Yeah. It was so stupid. And just all of it, the theme, they are ruining Jungle Boy as we speak. And I'm over it. I agree with you. It was 2 thumbs down.
It was awful. And I hated it. I was so looking forward to this because it gave Hook something to do. It gave. I thought they could have dragged it out when Jungle Boy wouldn't come out of his car, and because he didn't want to be workplace harassment. I think they could have built that up, make him like a male Karen type, like I refuse to work in these horrible conditions. Something, do something like, and then Hook has to drag him out of the car, and it leads to a match at All In, and that's when Jungle Boy wins this belt or something. But for it to happen,
back up with Christian or something.
Do something,
But it's been a dud.
Let's
talk about something that's not bad. Let's talk about something that everyone could agree on. Let's talk about the best thing happening in AEW right now, and that is We're Better Than You, baby. I'm pretty sure that's her tag team name, because I think Renee Paquette even announced them as that. By the way, Renee Paquette, good for you, Mox. She's getting hotter and hotter every day. I know she had a baby and so on. I'm not trying to dog, because women, you do your thing, your body and this and that, but she is definitely getting hot every week. She's doing it, Renee Paquette, her outfits and ever. But Adam Cole and MJF had a backstage promo with Miss Renee Paquette, and holy cow, did they kill it. Adam Cole's about to talk, MJF cut him off, and MJF cut a phenomenal promo. He did such a good Dax Harwood impression that Renee Paquette was laughing the entire time. Did you see that? Adam Cole was standing there trying to be like straight face, and Renee Paquette
was trying to hold it in. Yeah,
she was like cracking up. He was like phenomenal. What was he? I'm trying to read of what he said, but it was like some funny. He was just like, and I'm gonna do no flips, and he was like doing their like promos. I'm gonna punch you in the lip, and it was hilarious. It was like gold. Everything about them is phenomenal. And the biggest part about it was that, I don't know if Tony Khan, when he decided on this or was thinking about putting them together, that he didn't think it would work. And maybe he thought, hey, we're going to do this for a couple weeks, and that's going to lead to their turn and their match. And now it's kind of backfiring, because they are working, dude. They had FTR booed out of the building. Everybody in the world wants them. They're clicking. Having Adam Cole being like, unless they're going to do like a surprise, like Swerve, and MJF's just been lying this whole time and wanted to get the title shot. But basically at the end of this promo, MJF said, bro, you're it. Win or lose our tag team match coming up on Collision, I will give you the next shot at this AEW World Tag Team Championship. And that makes me think that they are going to beat FTR, because it's better to have the tag team champions fighting each other and then do the swerve from there. But I think we have to admit, and everyone in the world is saying, is that please, AEW, y'all don't write any good stories anyway. Here's your chance. Scrap breaking them up. Keep them together. They are like the most entertaining thing happening on your show right now. Anyone I've talked to about wrestling loves them. There's nobody that's not dogging this. They are so working together. Whether or not you do the tag, keep them. You've been wanting MJF to be a babyface anyway. Let's go. Let's do it. Am I off or what? This is just like...
No. Yeah. You got to keep them together. Yeah. You have to keep them together. I think it's clicking. It's working. Whatever it is they're doing, it's working. The fans are getting behind it. Like you said, they got FTR booed, and that never happens, because they're like the gold standard of professional wrestling when it comes to tag teams, and they got booed out of the building, and that's because of how over MJF and Adam Cole are. And I mean, these guys are money, and I want to see them win the tag team titles. I want to see them have a run with the tag team belts. I want to see, is this a legit thing that they're going to do? Is this like, I still have this feeling that Tony Khan's going to break him up, and he's just going to, it's going to lead to, that's why MJF agreed to give Adam Cole the title match whenever he wants it. I just have a feeling that, I don't know. I don't have a good feeling about it, but I love these guys together. I also like the addition of Roderick Strong. Roderick Strong came out on the end of that promo and was like, I see right through this. This is all bullshit. Like you're lying. And he like got into MJF's face
with his neck brace though.
Yeah, like I don't understand what the neck brace. I don't remember what happened.
How long is he gonna have that for? Yeah.
but he's the one he's kind of like the Kevin Owens when we talked about Elias and Ezekiel. Like he was the only one that saw that Elias was Ezekiel was not really Elias's brother.
Yeah.
And everyone else was like, "Oh no, that's his brother. That's his brother." And he was like, "No, it's not." That's kind of he's kind of reminding me of Roderick Strong right now. Like he thinks that MJF is a snake, and he's double crossing. He saw the look in MJF's face when Adam Cole held the title for so long on Collision or Rampage or Dynamite, whatever it was, and Roderick Strong's calling him out on that. And I'm digging this pairing. I'm digging all of it, and I want to see them keep it together. Do not break them up. Do not. And
if they break him up, it can't be MJF. It's got to be Adam Cole turning heel. Like, let's not do the whole stupid MJF turning. Let's get MJF babyface.
It was all a lie this whole time.
Yeah, let's have Adam Cole turn on him and have MJF be the sad and this because he finally got a friend for the first time ever, and he betrayed him, and have some sympathy, babyface push going on with the champ. So, all right, how are you going to close it out, bro?
Something else that I'm kind of digging, but I'm also kind of confused on, and that is the Chris Jericho joining the Don Callis family. So first of all, I thought Don Callis was part of the BCC, but apparently he's got his own. He got his own thing. He's got his own family now.
The Don Callis family, that's what they're called, I guess.
And who else is in this family, though? That's the thing. Like, he's trying to recruit Jericho, but I don't know anybody else that's in the
one guy.
Takeshita. Yeah.
Is he, though? Yeah, because they come out together. Yeah.
Yeah, but they were working with the BCC for a long time against the Elite. But, I'm kind of digging this storyline of Chris Jericho being in that, morally torn between joining the, Don Callis family, and, him and Don Callis go way back, and, the picture and some other historical times together that they've had in previous companies. And Bad News Brown, I think, is the guy that, they keep talking about every week, and what he meant to them and as a group. And in the meanwhile, he did have an interaction with the other members of the JAS, the Ty Mello and Anna J. I'm sorry, Anna J, AS, and then Luke Menard and Daddy Magic and the other guy. And Chris Jericho's basically like, guys, I'm like really torn. I don't know what to do, and what's been up? How are you guys doing? It's like acting like nothing was going on. And then they tell him, you got to figure it out. You got to figure out where your place is. The guy pulls out a comb. He's like, you gave me this comb. It means everything. Like he was Vern from Stand By Me. He's like, I dropped the comb. All of it. Yeah. Was it cheesy? Yes. Is it kind of weird? Yes. But am I intrigued? Also, yes. I'm very, very intrigued as to whether or not Chris Jericho is going to join the Don Callis family. I'm curious to see where it goes. Next week, apparently, it's going to be Chris Jericho teaming up with Takeshita to go up against his Jericho Appreciation Society members, Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia, in what I'm sure is going to be a great match. And that's why the JAS was mad at him, is because why he accepted that match in the first place. And I'm curious to see. I think this could do great things for Jericho, and I think it could do good things for the rest of the JAS, especially Daniel Garcia and Sammy Guevara, because I think they're going babyface.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, this thing needs an answer so bad that even Don Callis said so. When he was doing the picture and stuff, he was like, "Bro, you need to decide." Like even he's telling him to decide.
Even the JAS is like, "Yeah, come on, man, get with it."
Yeah, and obviously, if you're gonna go tell your guy, "Hey, you need to hurry up and make a decision," obviously you're gonna turn and bad things are gonna happen. But I mean, it's only good. You got the biggest heel right now, second biggest heel in AEW. Why not put him with Jericho? Jericho's gonna get him even more of a heel, even more over, even more everything. It's a good move, I think, for him to join Don Callis. But yeah, I mean, I liked all of this. I like the segment. I like where it's going. Jericho is kind of at that point, and the Jericho Appreciation Society has been around since COVID. I mean, it's time to kind of end it and let's move on. And I mean, the whole point was to get people over, and the sad part is, didn't really get many people over. So I mean, Sammy Guevara was already kind of where he is now. I mean, maybe Garcia got a little bit more of an over, but no one gives two rats about Daddy Magic or Brush Guy. The girls aren't really. I'm really hoping that after this, Anna JAS goes with Jungle Boy and helps him out. And maybe they can do a good relationship heel, unlike Sammy Guevara and his wife, where all they did was lick each other's tongues and it was disgusting and no one cared. Hopefully they can do kind of a good heel couple thing. But yeah, man, I'm ready for JAS to end. Even if he doesn't go with Don, even if he says no to Don Callis and then they turn on him, JAS afterwards, and say, "Sorry, you waited too long." However it's going to unfold, I'm for the end of it, and let's get the show moving.
Yes,
they got it moving.
I do like that they're telling a story, so for that reason, I'm intrigued. But I also like that they're not rushing into this. But at the same time, we also need an answer because it's the same thing every week.
For sure. All right, man. All right, we finished AEW. We didn't crap on it that much, huh? We did all right. We love AEW. Stop saying we don't.
Yeah, we do love AEW.
We do. All right, so. It's the end of our show, which means it is segment time. And we are playing Truth or Dare. True or false. All right. You ready? True or false. So this is the part of our segment on Two Dudes with Attitudes where we will give each other a scenario that we think can happen in the future on AEW. And we're going to say if it's true or false. We think this is going to happen.
It's damn true.
Or
false.
I love your things that you have. So, as always, gentlemen go first. The honorary dude always has the honoraries. Gotta plan this stuff. All right, go ahead, honorary dude. Let's hear it.
All right. True or false? We are going to get champ versus champ at All Out. Not All In, but at All Out the week after. And we're going to have MJF going against CM Punk for the undisputed AEW World Championship.
All right. It's a little while away still, but I'm going to have to say false.
False.
Sorry, I like it. I like the whole champ versus champ thing, but I think CM Punk is going to stick to Collision to kind of push other people. Looks like that's what he's doing. Start a feud with Ricky Starks, maybe others. And I think this MJF Adam Cole thing is going to go on a little bit longer. I think he's next. So is he going to wrestle All Out or All In for the title? Where are we going with that? If they win the tag team titles, where are they going with that? So I'm going to say false for now. I think it'll happen eventually, but CM Punk can't keep losing and then say it's still champion versus champion. That's not how it works. Shawn Michaels didn't come back with the IC title before, WrestleMania 10 in the ladder match against Razor Ramon and drop the belt lose 3 times. And then he's like, champ versus champ. You can't just I know we do the non-title thing, but no, you can't just lose matches and claim you're still the champ. But yeah. So what say you? What do you think?
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
I think it's happening.
When's All Out? It's November? October?
September. So I think All In is the last week of August, and then they're doing All Out the very next week in Chicago.
That's close.
And I think they did this last year when they unified the titles. It was Moxley versus Punk, and Moxley was the champ, and CM Punk was the champ, and so they did it then. But I just feel like there's something to this red bag that CM Punk is carrying around, and they keep alluding to it. They keep mentioning it.
They do.
They keep taking shots at each other. This week, CM Punk said something about I'm the real AEW World Champion, even if Little Maxie says that I can't have it. And then on the other side, MJF is cutting a promo about FTR, and he's basically saying there's too busy sniffing CM Punk's jockstrap. So, yeah, I think there's something to this. They're taking shots at each other for a reason, and I think this is what it's leading to. We're going to get Red Bag versus Champion. It's going to be champ versus champ, and it's going to be Punk versus MJF. 3?
Yeah,
and it's going to happen in Chicago.
I just can't wait till he opens up that red bag and it's a snake and it attacks MJF. It's not a belt. He's like, I'm not a champ. I don't have no belt.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Yeah. He's like, I don't know why you guys kept bringing up the red bag.
Yeah, I never said I was a champ. Yeah.
I lost to Ricky Starks, guys. All right, so Darby Allin is the new guy up for the TNT Championship. He alluded to the fact that he doesn't care who he wrestles. It could be Christian Cage or Luchasaurus. So, true or false? We continue to play hot potato with the TNT title, and Darby Allin wins the belt by beating Christian Cage, thus turning Luchasaurus on him once again, and Luchasaurus getting revenge for him dropping his TNT title. True or false? Darby wins it right away again.
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
I think it's happening. I think Darby Allin has been they keep giving him like backstage interviews. They're making him the new like Cody Rhodes of AEW. He's getting video packages. They're talking about, he's like the hype man. He was there for Orange Cassidy when AR Fox turned heel. He's just all over the show now, and he wants to be the true face of TNT. And I think
he does.
He does when he puts that title on the line. When he's the TNT champion, he does defend it. And I could see him moving over to Collision and holding the TNT title and defending it the way that Orange Cassidy defends the National Championship, and giving it a lengthy run and bringing prestige and relevance back to it instead of playing hot potato with it. So I think Darby Allin, he's not winning the world title anytime soon. And I think the next best thing for him is the TNT Championship.
All right. I'm going to say the same thing. I'm going true.
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
I think so. I think Darby's the guy. I think Tony Khan sees the TNT title as a joke. It's like the 24/7 championship in his opinion, which is sad because when it came around with Brody Lee and we had Cody Rhodes and Sammy Guevara at the beginning, I mean, this was like the prestige. This was like the IC title. Now it's just kind of the joke title. So, I see him winning it. And I think Christian Cage is a good fallout. I think he'll beat Christian Cage instead, and Luchasaurus will get a little butthurt about it. So, yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. What's your last true or false? Let's hear it.
Okay. All right. True or false? Which one do I want to go with?
Always the problem.
Yeah, I got a bunch of them on my list here. Okay. So true or false? Which one do I want? Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. I got it. True or false? Chris Jericho does not join the Don Callis family. And instead, Jack Perry joins the Don Callis family.
Oh, man, I'm going to say true.
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
And because that was one of the ones on my list.
Oh, nice.
Smart minds think alike.
Yeah.
I was going to say the thing. I think it makes sense. I think Darby needs it. I think, and I think it's a good segue, too, of having his girl in real life, Anna JAS, turn as well and maybe do a little low blow on him because she was all in his face, too, with Jericho. So I think it'd be good for him to turn and them to go. And I think Jack Perry is a great fit for that. And I think it'd be great. And maybe they can put it to work on Taz and Hook and have that crew and so on. So, yeah, I'm going to say true. I dig it, man. I like it.
Yeah, I like it, too.
It's damn true.
I said earlier that I think Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, Jungle, he needs a mouthpiece. And I think Don Callis is the perfect mouthpiece for him. It would continue getting him heel heat. It would continue getting him, that negative reaction without having Jungle Boy having to cut promos on a regular basis. He can just be that enforcer. He not even the enforcer, but just the person that comes out and beats people up and cheap shots and and Anna JAS can join, and maybe other members of the current JAS, Jake Hager, and maybe Daddy Magic joins them, leaving Chris Jericho without a group for the first time in his AEW run, and it maybe could set up Jack Perry versus Chris Jericho. So I'd be down for that.
All right, I agree. All right, you ready for the last one?
Yeah.
All right, so we talked about it. The Acclaimed and Daddy Ass lost. They got squashed. Daddy Ass tried to retire, and the Acclaimed just kind of stood there and watched. They weren't hurt. They weren't like recovering from the loss. They were just standing there watching, and then they kind of did some little meh. So, true or false? The Acclaimed are going to turn on Daddy Ass, blame him for their non-success, put the beat down, and we turn the biggest group into heels, because there are no heel tag teams right now, basically. They're all baby faces, basically, and we get the Acclaimed heel turn, and we go back to old school raps and so on and so on, and kind of rejuvenate the Acclaim. What say you?
False.
I don't want that, because they're so over and like scissor me.
Difference between rotten thinking, true and false. It's would you think it could happen or what?
Yeah. No, I don't. It's not going to happen. It's not.
All right.
They're just they're the most over group in AEW. I could see Billy Gunn turning on them, and again, like I said earlier, maybe he's joining House of Black, or Malachi Black whispered something to him that made him turn his back on his teammates or something. But I don't think they're going to turn on him. I think they would have done it already, because he's lost matches for them before. When they were feuding with his sons, and there was questions of whether he was going to unite with his sons or stay with the Acclaimed, and even he said he was torn on this, and he walked out on him one time before during that whole thing. So I could see him turning on them, but they stuck with him through all that. I don't think they're going to turn on him, so I don't see that happening.
All right. I'm going to go. I'm sorry. I'm going to surprise you. I'm going to go true. And not just because I came up with it.
It's damn true.
But I think Tony Khan's a ditwit sometimes, and I think he's going to go ahead and do it. And they're not doing anything with them, and they just got squashed. Why would they get squashed?
Yeah.
I think this is going to be them basically saying, you have been holding us down. We don't give you cost us our tag team titles. You're costing us trio titles. You continue to this and that and blah, blah, blah. And you think you're better than us. And I think they're going to put a beat down on them, and they're going to go heel. And they're going to be the biggest heels in the company. And I think they're going to do the scissoring and fake it. And just like Jericho used to do with the song, I think they're going to do all sorts of evil stuff and come back with evil raps. And I think they're going to. I think they got nothing to do with them right now. Where do they go from here? So, I mean, I think a heel turn would work for them. I think that's where they're kind of going with it. That's why I was trying to figure out why they got squashed and why he was lacing up his boots and why they weren't really trying to talk him out of it. I just feel like there's something brewing there. There's something brewing. And with Tony Khan booking, we'll find out probably on Saturday. So
or not at all.
We don't
never mention.
You don't let anything cook.
It was never mentioned again.
It'll be either one. So
no, I mean, now that you say it out loud, it's actually not a bad idea to turn them heel. They were heels before, and they were their people's reactions to them is what turned them into these baby faces that they are. So I don't hate the idea. I don't know if it's something I see them doing. But
no, and they sell a lot of merch too. That's the thing. Merch talks, dude. That's why Cena never turned. That's why. I mean, you see that they got 75 shirts and like scissors, foams. Although I never seen those at the events. Every time I go, they never have them. But yeah, man. So they sell merch. So, but anyway, all right, man. We did it. Two Dudes with Attitudes Wolfpack. We did our AEW edition. We're glad to be back. We are glad that Mr. Shooting Star Press is done with his, fun vacation drink vacay. Yeah. For now. And next week, we're going to have a big show, man. We're going to have some SummerSlam predictions, fallout from Great American Bash. We're going to talk about, things that are going on with, we're going to have new tag team champions in AEW. We got so much stuff to talk about next week. So tune in, be excited. We're the hottest pro wrestling podcast in the world right now. We are moving figures, keep doing it on YouTube, get us going on Twitch. And if not, then just keep loading us up on YouTube. I'd rather have 8 billion on YouTube and not on Twitch, if that's how it is. I'm loving you guys. Thank you so much. And as always, I am the dude of Wrestle Talk, Mr. MWO. And with me is that honorary dude,
Shooting Star Press. Like he said, follow us everywhere: Twitch, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, you name it. We're on Amazon. We're on all the podcast places: Google, Podbean, Buzzsprout, anywhere. So go hit us up, go follow us, go subscribe, go leave us some reviews. The more love we get, the more attention we get. Everything is an algorithm these days, and you guys can help crack the code by leaving positive reviews for us, 5-star ratings, and 4 or 5-star ratings. And yeah, we can get this thing going and make it the best thing ever.
I agree. Let's go. Two Dudes Wolfpack.
We're out.
Let's go.
It's the two dudes with the attitudes, let's go. On the Friday, you know what it is, man, they came to handle biz. Two dudes with attitudes, and they came to get it in. If you wanna hear it all, yeah, you in the right place. Going through the house.